Welcome to My Artist Friend, the podcast where we talk to artists behind the art so you get to know the people behind the scenes. My name is Becky Helms. I am a former shop owner, forever creative, who just wants to talk to creative people because they're pretty awesome. Today is actually really exciting because it is a month of the podcast. I've had the pilot, and this is 4 episodes, 5 episodes, and it's really exciting to me that A, I've stuck with it, and B, I don't know, it's just exciting. I've learned so much. I've pushed myself through. I'm trying not to overthink. I'm trying not to be a perfectionist about it. I'm going to learn as I go. And that's absolutely what I'm doing. And I just wanted to take a minute to acknowledge that. It's been a month, and that's really exciting to me. Next up, I wanted to do a quick bit of housekeeping. I'm going to move things over to Substack. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever, that's not going to do anything for you. Everything will be the same. Mostly it's just on the back end. And it's going to help me do things a little bit more easily because right now, my tech stack, I've got a lot of different things going and they all get very expensive the more you do, it feels like. And I want to be able to send emails to the folks who are already on my list. But I can't do that right now with Squarespace because of how many subscribers I have, which, like, I guess I get it. But when I'm just starting this kind of passion project, like, I don't have unlimited funds to put into it. So I think Substack is going to be a great place to be. They are a podcast distributor. I can email folks. We can have an archive of everything. It'll be a little bit more bloggy. I promise I'm not going to overload you with like a bajillion things of content. But if you're already over there, it's really easy to subscribe. I'm probably going to have some paid options, but I don't want to put any of my, podcast things behind any kind of paywalls. That's not really what this project is all about. But yeah, I was inspired to move over there because I follow Divinity from Book Crumbs, and I followed them for a really long time. And I was looking at their website and everything, and I was like, this looks amazing. I love how the information is set up. They have a podcast as well, the email. It's just a lot of really good stuff. And seeing how they kind of exist in the content space and promote the amazing projects that they have, it's just really cool. So if you don't know about Book Crumbs, I'm going to put links below because Divinity was a huge inspiration for wanting to move over there, and they're just amazing. So just check them out anyway. But that's all out of the way. Today's episode is one of my closest friends, Stacey of Stacey Martin Tattoos. She has done most of my tattoos, to be honest. We met years and years ago. I knew someone who had a tattoo by her, and I was like, this is amazing. Where is this person? And when she had her books open, I said, hi, hello, do you want to tattoo some cats in donut spaceships? And she said, absolutely, I do. And that's kind of when we met. And I'm not gonna lie, I was super nervous to meet her because she's way cool. But yeah, after that, I kind of solidified my campaign to make her my friend, and I tricked her into it. She is one of my closest friends on the planet. I love her dearly. This conversation was really fun because we talk about, again, big moves, moving your creative life to another place in the country, which seems to be a theme in the first few episodes of this. I promise we love Austin. It's a great place to be. Everyone just happened to land in other places. um, but yeah, we talk about the creative scene in Austin, how much we love it. We talk about it's interesting because she comes at it from a tattooer background. It's different from selling product, but we also talk about how during the pandemic she had to pivot really hard when everything kind of shut down, and how that pivot has kind of impacted her business as she goes forward and as things opened up. And it's a really interesting conversation. We talk about the value of community and taking care of the people in your own community when Asheville was basically destroyed by Hurricane Helene. She and a bunch of tattooers came together for their community, and it was amazing. So we talk in detail about that and how um, she and a lot of other people helped to make that happen. And uh, as we do, we also just went off on a tangent and talked a little bit about TV shows, and we talked a lot about books. So just take a little peek into one of our conversations as really good friends, and it's fantastic. I felt like what was it on SNL? This episode has everything. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you at the end. Okay. Hi, Stacey.
Hi, Becky.
How are you?
Loaded question as usual, but doing okay. Holding it together.
You just got back you were in Annapolis?
Yeah,
is that where you were?
In Maryland.
Again?
Yep.
Is that the second time you've been there this year?
It is, and it won't be the last.
Yeah.
I have a really loyal following in Maryland, and had I known that, I would have moved to the Northeast faster.
That's awesome. Yeah, I lived in Annapolis for like 10 years, 12 years, and then I was in Eastern Shore. I went to school in Salisbury, Maryland, and then I worked in DC for like 3 years. So Annapolis is my jam.
It's very pretty. You just feel like there's going to be like historical reenactors jumping out at any moment.
Right?
Yeah. It's cool.
That's awesome. I'm glad you like it there.
Love it. Yeah.
I got excited. I kept messaging friends when you'd have like a random opening, and I'm like, go now.
I know. It's been great because there's been people that I've tattooed more than once, so it's definitely like
nice.
Like I have a solid little clientele there, which is great. So
that's awesome.
I'll be back. And I went on the trip with my friend Zoe Bean, who owns Keepsake in New Jersey. That's one of the other guest spots. So like the theme of the year has been just girl tripping it with.
I love it.
I mean, I feel like it's the only way to go.
Yeah, that sounds so fun. I can't tattoo anyone, but I could tag along.
I mean, it gives me Craftcation vibes, like when we all went to that. So yeah, it's been really cool. Only we just are figuring it out with our tattoo friends now that we can do guest spots together, which is cool.
That's so awesome. Where else have you been this year? Because I feel like you've been on like a road show this year.
I'm trying to think like from the very beginning. I mean, Keepsake is always there in New Jersey. One of the owners used to own New Moon, which was in Brooklyn, which is where I would frequent. But that shop dissolved, but one of the owners and her husband created Keepsake in South Orange, New Jersey. So I think I was there earlier in the year. This is going to be wild. And we did kind of sticking in the East Coast area for the most part, but we did the Hudson Valley Tattoo Convention, which is in Poughkeepsie, New York. We did the New York City Tattoo Convention, which was like, I can't even remember when that was. I think that was in July. I did Annapolis one other time. We did in Pennsylvania. It was like in Amish country. We did the Pagoda Tattoo Convention.
Whoa. Just an Amish country.
It was like in the middle of nowhere. Like we looked up a grocery store to go to, and it just sent us to a Wawa. That was.
I mean, Wawa. You can't knock a Wawa. But maybe not for groceries.
Maybe not for groceries. But yeah, so we did the Pennsylvania one, and then I swore off conventions again for the rest of my life. and I went back down to Austin in August.
Yes,
as
we
one
just
does.
Barely missed each other.
I know.
And it was like
so bummed.
The hottest 2 weeks of the year or something that we decided to go there.
Mm-hmm. Just to remind ourselves.
I have to tell you though, when I was down there and I'm like hanging out with my family and they have to have their thermostat set at like 78 so it doesn't tax the system. And we're talking about like, well, we got to get the boys inside. They can't play outside now because it
Yeah.
feels like 111 right now. And it was just not lots of nice reminders about
Yeah.
why I moved.
Yeah. One of the few. Yeah, that's for sure.
Right.
The extremes in temperature for sure
Yeah.
is
No,
my
it's not for
favorite. I never
me.
realized how limited we were just being outside,
Yeah.
you know?
Right?
I mean, being a workaholic, I mean, I'm inside most of the day tattooing because you can't really run outside, and do that
Yeah.
stuff. But although I've seen some tattooers taking it on the road outside,
Oh,
we'll get to
Lord.
that later. Um, but anyways, yeah, no, it's weird because it's like being up here, and I know you're witnessing it too because I see your posts and stuff, but just like the ability to be in nature at almost any point in the
Yeah.
year for like
Yeah.
lengths of time. I mean, it's just something I feel like I took for granted at
Hmm.
one point in my life. And definitely I will never do that again. So
For
yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were even just being around all of the green and the trees and like I've got a little bird
Yeah.
feeder right outside my front
Oh my
window
God.
now. I was
Uh-huh.
like counting the birds and I'm like yelling at the squirrels that are like trying to bust into it.
Yeah.
This is
I've seen
this
a
is
few
my
with
life
like
and I love it.
people having raccoons in theirs. And the ones the ones that fit into your window sill, have you
Oh,
seen
yeah.
those? And there's just like, cute little trash pandas in there chilling.
I love it. I wouldn't be mad about it. Like I love the squirrels. We have chipmunks, we have red squirrels, black
Hmm.
squirrels, gray squirrels, deer. These are the things that make me happy now being up here because
Good.
we
Yeah.
couldn't do that down there. And there's a lot of things I
No.
love about Austin, but the
Yeah.
weather's not one of them.
Definitely not. I mean, there were like maybe like a month or two out of the year that were really that you looked forward to because you could open your windows.
Yeah. So how do you feel moving your kind of tattoo life from Austin up to New York? Has it been, because it's been 2 or 3 years now? 3 years?
We moved in September of 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and it
Yeah, three
probably
years.
took me a full year of figuring out where I wanted to work up here. And then once I figured out where I wanted to work, the county that I chose to work in wasn't exactly Albany. It was a different county. It was Schenectady. And they have, I believe, the strictest, I don't even want to say the strictest because that makes it sound like I'm looking for like a
Yeah.
licensing process that's willy-nilly, which is not, I
No.
mean, that's not, the Wild West part of it isn't good either. Like that
Yeah.
extreme isn't good either. But like probably the most like unnecessary hoops to jump through in
Mm,
order to get licensed. But I really wanted to work at the shop. I loved the people there and everything, so I figured it out and made it work.
yeah.
But I probably will never never do that again. I'm already at a different shop, so
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. It's been interesting because I had such a loyal clientele in Austin. And I mean, I had built one there for 13 years, which is I mean,
Yeah.
it's a long, long time. I mean, I was literally tattooing um, people who brought their kids to me eventually.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it had been that long and that much trust built and everything. So
Yeah.
moving to Albany, I kind of started with, I had no local clientele at all,
Yeah.
period. So we had to get the word out somehow. And it's been a big eye opener how much social media has
Yeah.
actually changed for that exact reason. Where I remember in Austin, like at the time, like pre-pandemic, I could do a post that's like, hey, I have availability, somebody canceled or there was a reschedule, and I would be like, boom, 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 boom. It would be
Yeah.
filled.
Yeah.
And now it just kind of goes into the ether. So we've had to
Hmm.
kind of pivot and figure it out, and stuff like that. But I'm lucky enough that I've had enough exposure that, I'd say at least 50% of my clients travel in.
Yeah. I
And
believe it.
I've had a couple of crazy people come in from Austin all the way to New York. And it's always just like my heart is just full
Heck yeah.
when I do see their faces. So it's pretty awesome. And
That's
then from
great.
all over the place too. But a lot of
Yeah.
people in the Northeast are pretty pretty happy I'm here now.
I'm so
So,
glad. I'm glad that you're
yeah.
kind of finding your rhythm and everything and
Yeah.
settling
Yep.
in. Because it's
Yeah.
hard. Like, I don't know, like I'm not even selling stuff here and I'm still kind of settling in and,
Yeah.
I know a couple of people, but it's not the same. That's why I had to hoodwink folks into talking to me here so I could
Yes. Yeah.
so I
It's
could be with my people.
it's hard. Yeah. We were so, I mean, I feel like we had such a great community in Austin.
Yeah.
I miss that the most. I
Yeah.
miss that more than food, weather, any of it, you know. It
Absolutely.
really is the kind of artist community we had there. It was great.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things, dear listeners, is we would go out to lunch every now and then, but our lunch was like a milkshake from Sweet Ritual or like
Yeah.
a giant ice cream cookie sandwich.
Thanks.
That's so fun. So what is next on your plate? Do you have any more traveling for the year as it
Well, I
slows
mean,
down?
I do, but it's not for work. So
Oh,
that's,
well, that's good.
yeah, I actually, I wouldn't say impulsively, but like, again, the girl trip thing has been
Yeah.
the theme of the year. So I'm gonna head to Vegas with a good friend of mine, and we're gonna do
Fun.
kind of Vegas our way. Most people are so intimidated by it, but it's like if you like to eat,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much it. I'm really good at guiding you
I
around.
love
Well,
that.
we're gonna do some cool stuff too, like
Yeah.
some sightseeing, like the Neon Museum and like the
Yeah.
Omega Mart. Meow Wolf is there, so we're gonna do some stuff like that.
Yeah, those are bucket list kind of things. I've only
Yeah.
been to Vegas once, and it was for a work trip when I managed an EB Games
Oh
store.
my God.
And it was all like just work things at the Mandalay Bay. And I was like, well, what can you
Right,
do?
like they kind of like keep you corralled and like doing,
Yeah.
not too much exploring to go on there.
Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
only hanging out with like fellow game store managers. So different crowd.
Yeah, it is. It is. I don't know if they're as wild as like we had tattooed at QuiltCon like 100 years ago,
Oh,
but like
yeah.
quilters
Hmm.
and librarians,
Yeah.
when you get them together, they are wild. They're real wild.
I believe it. I
Yeah,
believe
I
it.
I kind of love it.
Yeah, I was talking to Carla just the other day about quilting things on the
Aw,
podcast. So that was fun. Yeah, I have my little look at this. This is my first little quilt.
I swear, Becky,
I made it.
your patience is beyond me. Did you hand sew or machine sew or both?
I machine sewed, like I pieced it and machine quilted it, but the
Okay.
binding was by hand because you like sew one side down and then you like fold it over and then like
Yeah.
hand stitch it.
That's not too bad.
And I did hand quilt a quilt for Andy for our anniversary, but it was more of like a Japanese sashiko situation.
Nice.
So it wasn't like super detailed, but I love
Yeah,
it.
nice and minimal, but like
Yeah, yeah,
clean. Cool.
exactly. So that was fun. That was definitely like I decided I can do this like 3 weeks before our
You're
anniversary.
you're a quilting machine. I'm like really impressed seeing your progress with that.
It's I still have my Halloween one's not done, but we'll
Oh
see.
my gosh. Yeah, I've had like three fully realized craft kits of different types
Yeah.
that I ordered throughout the year, and they're all still
Mhm.
sitting in the boxes in in
I was
art
gonna
jail.
say I've been seeing all of Jen's like Lucky Star art
Yeah,
camp, all her
yeah,
Christmas kitschy stuff she's doing right now, and I'm
I
like,
know.
take me there. I
Massively
just
jealous.
it looks so fun.
She and I
Um,
actually met up in New York,
Fun.
in New York
Oh
City.
yes.
Yeah, and I took one of her classes at it was in Brooklyn. What was it called? It was so cute. The place was so cute. They
Yeah.
primarily do like after school classes
Oh
for
fun.
kids, but they also have adult classes, and I got to make one of her like junk jewelry vases,
I
like
love
flowers with
those.
vases and stuff.
Yes.
It was the most fun.
Just the amount of like junk jewelry stuff that she's got, especially
Yeah,
all of her just like Christmas kitsch. I just want to dive in. I'm just like, give
I
me it
know.
all.
I know.
It's so good. I was like, how can I? Because I was like taking screenshots. Like, I'm gonna make this at home
Yes. Yeah,
because
no,
it's
you
so
could.
good.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's the beauty of it, but also like I mean, I miss kind of just getting together with like a group of people and
yeah,
like the stuff that you learn and the conversations that
yeah,
are had, by mutually doing all this stuff too is like it's just really cool. I don't know. I
yeah.
had a lot of fun. I miss that kind of stuff.
For sure. Yeah, I miss Craftcation. I need to find a way to get back in on that because
Yeah.
Craftcation is, for people who don't know, it's a yearly convention in Ventura, California, by the folks who do the Patchwork Show and the podcast Dear Handmade Life. And it's just almost a week of craft fun times.
Yeah.
And like I taught, because it's 2019, before the world changed completely forever. And it was so fun. And I don't think I would go to teach again just because I just want vibes. I just want to be.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think maybe in another year I can plan
Yeah,
for something like that for sure.
yeah. I think that
We
would be
should all
so
go.
fun. I've been
Yeah.
talking it up to my folks in the Pins 101 group because like I don't really sell the course anymore, but we still meet up monthly because I like them. We chat.
Nice.
But I was trying to get people to get on board with it because that's where I met some of the people there at who were in my course at Craftcation
Yeah.
years and years ago, which is really cool.
You've had them for like I mean, it's been I don't know. I hate math. It's been what,
I
like almost
know.
like 4 or 5 years that
It was like
you've known these
5 years. Yeah.
people. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
It's wild. It's really
Yeah.
fun. And I feel like so many of us, we live online and we know all our friends on the internet. So
Hmm.
it's hard to get together with people that are like minded and understand, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I miss you.
I know. I know. Man, I know. And I was like, man, why did I have so much time before? And I know why, because I was not tattooing. I wasn't
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
And, like just having like you and Libby, and I mean, even more than once a week, we would get together, just even on
Yeah.
Zoom, just to
Yeah.
sometimes we wouldn't even say anything. We'd all three of us would just be working on something, but we'd
Hmm.
have each other in the room, and that was
Yeah.
like, it was pretty
It was
magical.
it was fantastic, especially when you're homebound and you know. And
Hmm.
I know you especially had to pivot so hard during the pandemic because you literally couldn't be in the same room with people for just months at a time, which
Right.
not really conducive to tattooing.
No, no, and it was having you guys was I always tell people that, especially like, I actually have the privilege to tattoo a few of the vendors that I've sold wholesale to,
That's
which is crazy.
awesome. That's
I know.
amazing.
I know. So like, and we're talking, and I tell them, I was like, it's crazy because it's literally like I went so hard during the pandemic, like
You
almost to the
did.
point where I fully was like, maybe I can quit tattooing and just do this. But
Yeah.
the demand for that was also super high.
Hmm.
Um, and I do love tattooing, I
Yeah.
mean, and I'm not dead yet from tattooing. So I'm gonna keep doing it, but like, I also realized that, and I knew this was gonna happen, that I couldn't do both to
Yeah.
the level that
Yeah.
I would want to do both. Like, I do
Yeah.
see a lot of merch getting kind of thrown together out
Hmm.
there almost for the sake of just having something. And I
Yeah.
can't operate that way. Like, I have
Yeah.
to really be proud of something, and want to, I don't know, I just want people to be impressed,
Yeah. For sure.
with
You have a
both tattooing and that. So,
Yeah, well, your
yeah.
eye for detail and like you are so I don't know, you were so tuned in because when you were pivoting for a while into product design, like you would send us stuff, oh, what do you think of this? And I'm like, that's literally the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, what are you talking about? Like everything was perfect. I'm like, I have no notes. Like, what do you mean?
Well, it's weird too because like I mean, I'm in my own head.
Yeah.
So having you guys kind of as a sounding board, like, is this, I don't know, like, and just helping me with
Yeah.
like color and like dialing things back because just like with tattooing, I could go nuts with the art and like the detail in it and everything, but in reality, the size of it is
Yeah.
like compact. And it's like, well, really, I'm going to end up losing some of that, or it's not going to work
Yeah.
well at this size. So just, I mean, having that sounding board was, I mean, I improved right from the first pin, like the stuff
hmm
that I had made
I
without you
have,
guys.
by the way, you can't really see them. I picked the
I
worst
can't because
shirt,
it's blurry, but I believe you. Oh, the
but
bats.
I have your little baddies. I'm
Nice.
on theme.
Thank you.
Love them. But yeah,
Thank
you
you.
did such an amazing, your shop was so beautiful and everything was so
Thanks.
great. But it's true, like it's hard enough as someone running a shop doing like retail and wholesale at the same time, because those are basically two separate jobs, with
Yeah.
two separate audiences. But then once everything started opening back up, you had retail, wholesale, and tattooing. So it's like
Yeah.
you were only one person.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it all had to like, I had to come to a realization that I think I want to pivot back to basically once in a while doing something that's very limited edition.
hmm
I can't have people expecting something every
Yeah.
quarter or every, holiday or whatever, but just kind of doing it as I feel ready for it and just kind of have it be like that. So that's going to kind of put a little bit of a damper on wholesale orders, but that's okay. Like the sticker
Yeah.
thing, honestly, that's probably the easiest thing for me to keep stored in my
Yeah.
apartment. And it's one of the easiest things for me to mail. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think I'm going to stick with
Absolutely.
that for now and every once in a while do like a pin or something.
I love it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why, like, when we were moving, I was like, I literally, like, I don't want to have the business in the
Yeah.
house. And it just takes up so much space. It's like, I can't
Yeah.
do it. And then I get the itch. I'm like, maybe I'll make stickers. I don't know. Maybe I can make like one pin. And then I'm like, stop it. You're going to
Yeah.
start shipping. You're going to
Yeah.
hate it. You need to
Yeah.
stop.
There's FOMO in there. You know what I mean? Like I see some of
Yes.
my friends and I see this other stuff or I see other tattooers starting to make stuff and I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to do it again.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean,
I have to be very realistic with my energy levels and capacity now in my life. I'm finding it's very important. So, do you have you're going to Vegas later just for fun,
mhm.
but you're just going to stay booked out and quit during December? Like, because you're a
Well,
Christmas
December
baby.
kind of, yes. December has always been the month that I like to take some time for myself,
Yeah.
regardless, because of the birthday, because
Heck
of
yeah.
the holidays, like our
hmm
families and everything. So we do a little bit of travel to go spend some time with them. So I like to have the free time to be able to bake
Heck
and
yeah.
wrap presents and all that stuff and do the travel stuff and
Yeah.
kind of like feel out the first quarter of next year as far as my travel goes and
hmm
planning that out because my newsletter comes out like December 1st, I think, and that will be
hmm
the indicator of what people can expect travel wise and stuff for me
Yeah.
for next year, at least the first part of it.
That's awesome. I loved
Yeah.
doing like next year planning in December. There was just something so, I don't know, it felt so good to be able to take that time and have a job that allows us to take that much time off for ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
what a blessing that is. Like, my God. And
Yes.
the planning during the holiday was always really nice, you know.
It's like interesting because it's like I was talking about this with John, my husband, and you know, tattooing's changed a lot this year and probably
Yeah,
last year a little bit too. Like it's honestly slowed down for a lot of people.
really.
And yeah, And it's we've been noticed like in Austin I never had cancellations. Like it was so rare. And also in the beginning of the pandemic, when artists started to go back to work, and once things started to open up a little bit again, or like vaccinations came out, or we figured out a safer way to tattoo people, everybody had the the stipend from the government, the extra money.
Yeah,
So a
yeah,
lot
the
of people saw
stimulus.
like it was almost like a tax return because we always see like a boost during tax return season, and
Really?
there was a huge uptick, and I think a lot of people got used to that.
Yeah.
And now, because there's so
Now,
much, yeah, I mean, there's
yeah.
unrest, like the economy's not great despite what you're
Hmm.
hearing. Like, I mean, I'm seeing
Yeah.
firsthand a lot of people kind of hanging on to their money tight, plus the holiday season's coming up. So it just naturally slows down. So I actually look forward to if I get a cancellation because then I can give attention to the Etsy shop or set up a sale with the people that make my prints and get ready for the holiday
Yeah.
season, which is what I'm going to end up doing this week. Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice that you can channel that. You're not like, oh no, I don't, how do I fill this spot? You're like, I'm just gonna take advantage of this and work on
Yeah.
something else.
Well, that was
That's
the beauty of
fantastic.
figuring that all out during the pandemic with you guys was that
Yeah.
now it's just, I'm not scared to just pivot and
Yeah.
do that. Like it's all set up for me. So
That's
it's great.
awesome. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that you can lean on it and follow the energy, when you when you
Yeah.
need to or want to. That's fantastic.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
did want to talk about what you've been doing for the tattooers in Asheville. I
Oh,
would love to hear about that because it's been so amazing to see how tattooers have kind of come together
yeah.
for the community, and I'd love to know more about
Okay. All right. So, um,
it.
we there's a little bit of a shift in a storm in a hurricane called Helene, and it ended up hitting Asheville, and they never even saw it coming.
It's
Um,
awful. It's just
it is.
awful.
I won't get into the filthy, horrible details of it, but I
Yeah.
mean, like a third of that place is just gone,
That's so
and
scary.
I know, and because of like everything else that was going on in the news cycles, there was another storm as well that had hit. It kind of fell out of favor in the news cycles, but like these people
Yeah.
are still without potable water.
It's,
So, and it's been months. And it's terrible. So,
yeah.
long story long, I met Lauren Bartram at the New York City Tattoo Convention, and she's an awesome tattooer. She was tattooing in San Diego, and just this past year moved to Asheville.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. So, but luckily, where she lives is fine. The
Hmm.
shop that she was working at was not fully wiped away,
Yeah.
and I mean, they all had to kind of wait for things to come up to code again with having, I think, how do I explain it? Like portable sinks with clean water in there to pass like
Hmm.
health inspection and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, we figured out, I have friends and clients down there and other tattooers that I know down there, and we're slowly kind of figuring out the scope of everything. And total, there were 11 tattooers total that
Hmm.
lost everything. And I think it
Hmm.
was four total shops that are fully just
Just
gone.
gone.
And I mean, that's just the worst. That's probably the very worst of it. There's still more where there were shops that were, had some damage done that, these tattooers couldn't just segue right back into tattooing. It
Yeah.
just, like think of the pandemic when a bunch of us couldn't tattoo for like 3 to 6 months in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like we don't work, we don't have income. It's just
Hmm.
how it is.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I was also hearing stories that there were grants for artists down there that were affected. And because tattooers do not fit in this box of being just an artist, they were denied
Oh my
grants.
gosh. That's
Yeah,
absurd. That's absurd.
I know. And there was some fundraising going on through some GoFundMe's and stuff, but
Hmm.
the scope of it, that wasn't going to really help these people the way they needed help. So I contacted Lauren. I was like, we were just kind of chit chatting on Instagram and I was like, I'm like, I have like power supplies and like machines lying around. I said,
Yeah.
would it be weird if I sent those down there? Would you be able to like distribute anything? And she's like, that's actually a really great idea. That would be wonderful. And then I got thinking more.
Hmm.
And I'm like, what if I contacted a few of the major supply companies just to see if they could donate?
Did you really? I didn't
I
realize you
did.
did that.
I did. I mean, it took some networking because there's a great tattooer, Mike Chambers, that has a shop down there. And he saw my post that I had made asking for just general help and everything like that, and saw that some of the supply companies that I was asking, he's like, hey, I know so and so here. Do you want me to put you in
Nice.
touch with them? And I was like, yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm just over here like emailing their customer service emails, and
Yeah,
I think some of them are just like still lost in
in
a
the ether.
pile.
Yeah,
Yeah, so two of the major suppliers reached out, and we set it up so that they sent things to Lauren. Lauren went and distributed everything to
hmm,
these
that's
11 tattooers
awesome.
once we rounded them up and organized all of that. But the things that she posted, like the videos that she sent me, they sent like brand new machines to these people. They sent
That's
brand new sets of ink.
awesome.
So this is stuff where if they just had a little bit from that GoFundMe, they can't replace their entire setup.
Yeah,
And I know that it's going to take a lot of time for them, and some of them may not even rebuild the shops that were devastated. They may
yeah,
just move on or just move because I mean,
yeah,
it's just insane down there. But it gives them the opportunity to hit the road, go do guest spots, work at some of the shops that weren't affected because they've been having
yeah,
space for them too. So just for them to be able to get some normalcy and start working again right away, which is
yeah,
the main thing. I mean, it like hurts you in your guts when you can't do what you're meant to do, and
yeah,
then you might have a
yeah,
family or rent or whatever to, the normal stuff that you can't
yeah,
even begin to think of how you're going to pay. So
yeah,
it really just took asking, and and they didn't, I mean, not everybody got back to us, but the ones that did, they made the biggest difference. And then there were also tattooers from around the country that sent
hmm,
stuff that they had sitting around for these people.
yeah.
So, I mean, it was awesome.
I think that's amazing. I think it's an amazing way
Yeah.
for a community to help each other in a time of
Yeah.
need
I
because I
feel
can't
like
even
that's going to
imagine how
be the
much it would
way.
cost. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh my
that's
God.
true.
Yeah,
It's mutual aids, it's helping each other and uplifting each other because
exactly.
that's the only way things will be equitable.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
one of the reasons I started doing this. I was like, maybe I can show a few new people to some folks who would like to follow them or buy some things, like
Sure.
anything I could do. Because I feel like I'm sitting in my little house not knowing what to do for my community. And you see more and more people closing up shop. And I'm like,
Yes.
no, I like your weird stuff. I need you to keep going.
I know. I know. It's been hard. I mean, on that same end of things, I've seen a lot of tattooers quitting
Yeah.
because of just the state of tattooing right now and how
Yeah.
unsteady it is. I mean, I've seen tattooers like seeking out different, just going down different avenues to find revenue. So,
Yeah, I
yep.
believe it. I mean, even like if you have to travel to go see your favorite tattoo artist, like travel is so expensive. Like
Yeah.
we went down to Texas just for family stuff, and I was like, what are these prices for the cheapest back of the airplane? Like
Yes.
I'm sitting in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And
Basic
still
economy. Yeah.
paying hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It's
Yeah.
like they tell me the economy's doing better. I'm like, yeah, for who?
Yeah, it's not for us.
No.
It's definitely not even
But
close for us.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why we need to take care of each other. And I
Yeah.
love that you're doing that. So on a totally different note, what are you watching now? What are you reading? I want to talk about
Oh, you know what
fun
you're
stuff.
doing to me right now. You know exactly what you're doing. Well, watching, that's always a loaded question too, because
You
I
always
feel
have
like
such great recs for
I do. I feel like I keep
shows.
rewatching stuff too. But Somebody Somewhere on HBO.
Oh,
It's Bridget Everett, Murray Hill's in it. It's just awesome. It's
yeah.
yeah, I don't know how to exactly explain it other than it's like every emotion that you could possibly feel watching something, and
Oh,
it's one of the
goodness.
most relatable shows out
Yeah.
there, and just funny, stellar cast. Yeah, it's worth watching.
Nice.
Not with your children. Because it's appropriately vulgar and wonderful. Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows, and I'm so psyched. It's on its third season. And
Nice.
that's on Max, and
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, What We Do in the Shadows, that's
Oh,
a just been a
classic.
staple in our lives.
Classic.
Only Murders. Yeah, I mean,
So good.
TV wise, just that little bit. Are you gonna make me talk about
Yeah.
books with you? I'm see me avoiding it.
Only only if you want to. I was gonna say I've been watching All Creatures Great and Small on PBS. It's based on a book series that I've started reading as well. That came
Okay.
out in the 70s. It's this Scottish guy who moved to like Yorkshire, England, and is a vet. And it's the most wholesome, heartwarming, like, I know everything's going to be okay at the end of every episode. And I'm like, this is what
Oh,
my nervous system needs right now because I
yeah.
cannot handle. I'm like, I know there are so many great shows on right now, but if there's like the tiniest bit of stress, like, no, thank you.
Whose idea was it to make a movie called Civil War? Whose
Right now,
idea was
like,
that? I
no,
mean, give me a break,
mm-mm,
people.
yeah, like now is not the time. Like,
No, I'm sorry I keep
read the
shaking
room.
because I'm like I'm
I
like
know.
shaking my table. But no, seriously, like I
Yeah,
totally get what you're saying because it's just
yeah.
like and the people that I don't know. I just can't.
Most of my life is revolved around chilling out my nervous system as much as possible.
Yes. And that's been honestly, I feel like it's taken over my algorithm as well, like somatic exercises to
Yeah,
release past trauma, like all this stuff. And I'm
like,
like, I used to
please.
laugh at that, and I'm like, nope, I'm sitting there against the wall with my legs in the air. I'm like, bring it to me, please. Give
Yes.
give me inner peace. Ugh.
Yes.
But
You gotta get it where you can.
yeah, for sure. And I think
Yeah.
there's some reading material out there that
Hmm.
also very much so is has been a big source of escapism for
Yeah.
apparently all of my friends, whether I know it or
It's
not.
true. It's
Yeah,
true. One of us. One of us.
well, it's I'm there. And I've converted so many. You've made a mistake with me because
I'm
I'm just
no,
like, yeah,
no.
I
They can join. They can join.
I
Everyone is
know.
welcome here. I did so I have a copy of A Court of Mist and Fury because just in case anyone didn't know, I'm obsessed with Sarah J. Maas books, everything. And I've gone through and reread like all of them and I've tabbed them for all my little like tracking things and character descriptions, what's going on. But I have little tabs of just like my favorite parts, just like lines that I love. I went through the other day and I was just like, I can't read anything new. I'm going to take my favorite book and
Yes.
just read my favorite parts. But I
Yeah.
loved it. And like the first thing I opened it to is this line of Feyre, who was reading a book for like the first time, basically. And she's like, I'm so glad for these characters that, I know don't exist, but they help me through this difficult time. And I was like, yeah, it's like you, Feyre.
Yeah. Farah and Sarah J see us
They do.
so hard right now.
They understand. They understand.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
I'm not even close to being done with the whole
Yeah.
Massverse. So I have not reread anything yet. But
Yet is the key.
yeah, I feel like it's gonna happen.
You'll get
I'm
there.
on book 3 of Throne of Glass, so that's what, Heir of Fire.
Mm-hmm. That's Airfire. Did you read Assassin's Blade? Yeah.
No,
Okay.
against everyone's suggestions because I have to
Well,
be stubborn and do what I want when I want. Um,
That's fair. That's fair.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can read it
And
after air fryer. It's
I
fine.
might. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we said after like Crown of whatever.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
still
I
haven't
read it
read it.
first. There's a lot of controversy about the order in which to read that. And then
Yeah.
even like there are two books that happen at the same time later on, and some people read them in it's called the tandem read. And so they like mark these chapters and they'll go one book and then the next book. I'm like,
Oh my
absolutely not.
God.
There's no way in which I will do that.
Yeah, I draw a line. Um, and at one point I was listening to um I think the first two Throne of Glass books and also physically reading
Mhm.
uh the second Crescent City book because I'm trying to get done with these before I don't want to read the third Crescent City yet. I want to
Yeah,
wait until I'm done with Throne of Glass and also I
yeah,
mean
I think that's best.
in the Yaros universe, I mean I got to
Oh
get
Lord.
through Onyx Storm,
Yeah.
but then I also whenever Sarah J is coming out with the next ACOTAR book,
Yeah.
like
Who knows
I need to
when?
be
There's
done with
been
all of these. So I'm trying to
yeah.
but like the tandem thing, I started to I think I started to I kept calling Rune Dorian and Dorian Rune. And and the people I was talking to about it are like, "You mean Dorian?" And I'm like, "Yeah, never mind."
Yes.
I was
Yes,
being
actually.
real crazy about it. So,
It's a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And we can't have
nice.
any spoilers because
No. Oh, please. One of my other friends that I turned into a monster with these, who's basically listening to all of them at warp speed,
oh my
has
god.
already ruined like the
No.
third Crescent City for me. Because I told them I was reading the second one, and I think
Yeah.
they don't call them by the names of the book. It's just we're just calling all three of them Crescent City, even though it's
Yeah.
like, Earth
Yeah,
and
that's what I
whatever.
do.
Um, and she was like, "You're done, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I finished it." And I didn't realize she meant the entire series. So
Oh
she
no.
like blurted some stuff out, and I was like,
No.
"I didn't
You
read
gotta
that
put it
part."
you gotta put it out. You gotta put it out. Yeah, I had a big huge
I know.
spoiler for Throne of Glass that I wish I had never known because I think that
Hmm.
would have been wild to experience. And I feel like
Yeah,
most of the Throne of Glass people are like really good at no
they're
spoilers,
cool.
but
Yeah, they're cool with it.
yeah, we get
Or
it
they'll
because
warn you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and then I
that's
fully ruined I wouldn't say I ruined it. I feel like I gave myself an inside advantage for the second
looking up
Crescent
fan art.
City. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
You can't do it. You can't
I
do
know.
it.
Well, now I really know that. I'm not mad though. Not
It's it's scary. It's scary out there on the internet.
mad.
Some people don't warn you, and it's rude. I'm so like I think I told you I was reading Crescent City 3 when it first came out, and nobody else I knew was reading it at the time. And I was like, I can't just keep bombarding Andy with things he has no idea about, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So my cousin is the one who kind of hooked me on everything, and she
Okay.
doesn't mind a spoiler. So it was like after every couple of chapters, it was a voice note. It was, oh my god, you won't believe what just happened.
I know I need to start doing that with you with the Throne of Glass stuff because I need to get back
Please,
on track with that too. Um, I
please
just
do.
haven't. I mean, with the travel and stuff, I haven't had a chance to do
Yeah,
the reading
it's
this past week, but
it's hard. Yeah, I have like an audiobook going at all times from the library because I love the Libby app. So I'll just
hmm
find something on there to listen to, and then I'll have like my nighttime book.
yeah,
But yeah, it's hard when you're traveling and you want to have something to read, but like when, you know.
yeah. Like when I travel for tattooing and like when we do conventions and stuff, my night ends sometimes at like 10 p.m.
Oh Lord.
Like Yeah, like we'll have like dinner at 9:30, and like by the time I get back to the hotel or wherever I'm staying, it's just like I'm
Yeah.
zonked.
Yeah.
I'm just done. So, yeah.
I totally get it. Yeah, this year I haven't read nearly as much because when I got into my books, I was like full on and like counting
Yeah.
everything, and I've never made like the 100 books a year thing that people will try to do, but I've gotten close. But this
I
year
mean,
it's
they've got
like,
to be also listening, right?
yeah, they have to be. Yeah, it's been mostly audiobooks for me this year, to be honest.
And I'm going to tell you, Becky, I can't do audiobooks. I
Yeah.
start immediately drifting and thinking of
Mm,
other things, and I stop paying attention.
yeah.
And I don't know. I think I know why, but like it's undiagnosed. But yeah, I just can't do it for some reason. Like I'm a visual, like I have to read
Yeah.
it.
I think
Yeah.
that's totally fair. There are some narrators that I just can't do. Like some people are fantastic. Like Dan Stevens, our precious boy from Downton Abbey. What's his name? Matthew.
Yes.
From Downton Abbey. He does audiobook narration for like Agatha Christie books. It's everything. Like Death on the Nile and the Orient Express. Is that what
Okay.
it's called? I
Yeah.
forget.
I think so.
Um, Fantastic. Like he's amazing. And I was like, I listened to a James Bond book just because he narrated it. I was like, well,
Okay.
now I've read Casino Royale.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I had
But
no idea that
yeah,
he was.
there are
See,
some that are
I
really good.
you're so into. I mean, you're like my go-to for stuff like that because I don't. It's not a world that I've that I mean, I just kind of dive into these things as like an auxiliary thing, you
Yeah,
know, to shut my
yeah.
brain off and stuff. But like, I'm fairly new to this, just like marathon reading these books and everything, and like getting
It's a
into
whole
like
world.
the lore of it and all, like just the
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I kind of didn't understand it at first, and I'm like, what kind of crack is in these books, like. Because it's seriously,
Yeah.
they're really like you get to a certain point, like there's like a little bit of exposition in the beginnings usually that are kind of like
Hmm.
slow, and then all of a sudden it's like,
You're like,
I
this is my
can't put
life
it
now.
down, and it's just
Yeah.
wild. I know,
Yeah. There's
I know.
and there's a lot more. I have so many recommendations for
Oh
you.
my God. And you have
Yes.
the physical like bookshelves and the books to
Hmm.
like, I'm sitting here on my phone like a ding dong with like the largest text possible. Just very entertaining for whoever sits next to me.
We do what we can, all right?
Hmm.
We make it easy on ourselves.
Hmm.
If that's the easy way to read, that's the way to do it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I oscillate, and sometimes I had like a slump recently, and I started like 3 or 4 books. Like, got a couple chapters in on a few things, and I'm just like, I can't. It's just like nothing really grabbed me.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes a while. I don't know.
Yeah. I know. I've stopped reading some books just like right at which
Yeah.
is terrible, but yeah, that just were not
No, that's a
doing it for
DNF.
me.
That's a did
What
not
it's
finish.
oh, I still don't know what is it like the to read list? What's the
The
acronym for that?
TBR, the to
What does
be
that
read,
mean?
to
Oh,
be
to
read.
be read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my TBR. I feel like adding books to your TBR and then actually reading are two very
Hmm.
different hobbies.
I agree. I agree. And then I forget where I have like multiple lists in different apps. Like
Yeah.
I have all my saved stuff in Instagram. Like if somebody that I'm
Oh
following
yeah.
mentions a book, like I save them there, and then I just have like a
Mm-hmm.
list on my list app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I use Storygraph to like keep track of all the stuff that I've been reading. It's like Goodreads, but it's not owned by Amazon, and it's owned by people of color. So
Nice.
love
Is it
them.
like a spreadsheet for your
It's
books?
like a catalog of like what you've read and what you want to read. And I
Okay.
love it because it like breaks down like your reading habits.
Oh,
So like,
like
what
by
is it? This
genre and
is
stuff.
for, yeah. So this is my, like, I've read 40 books this year. These are like my little genres, my pacing, and then like the type, obviously, fantasy and romance are my top, you know, and you can see like your favorite authors and stuff like that. And
Nice.
I love it. And you can see how many books per month. And
And what is it called?
it's called Storygraph. It's super nerdy and I love it. And it makes me feel good. You get that like immediate dopamine when you're done with a book, and then you just go in and go doop doop doop, finished. And then you
I
can,
like a good list. Yeah.
right? I love it.
I'm already downloading it.
I love
There
it.
you are. Okay.
Yay!
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you for
Yeah.
coming to chat with me today.
Yes. I
Really,
wasn't sure how long it was going to be.
I don't know. I didn't know either.
Because you and I can go.
It's the truth. It's the truth. And we should do
Yeah.
this just anyway, you know,
Yeah.
without the podcast of it all. But I felt so
Yeah.
bad asking so many people like, "Hey, can you come chat with me really quickly like right now?"
Don't
And
ever feel
everyone's
bad about
couldn't.
that. No, that's perfect. I'm excited to see everyone else that you got lined up too.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
I'm excited. It's going to be a busy week, and I'm really stoked for the folks I'm talking with. Folks here,
nice.
a friend in Australia, a friend in London. It's going to be
Wow,
a
Becky.
varied group. It's going to
Yes.
be fun. Yay!
Nice. All right.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're
You're the
welcome.
best.
Thank you.
Where can people find you if they want to book or buy?
They can find me at Stacey, spelled with an E, Martin.com. That's my website, or Stacey Martin Tattoos on Instagram.
Amazing.
That's
Yay!
that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacey. Thank you again for listening. I really appreciate that you're here. Be sure to check out Stacey on Instagram and staceymartintattoos.com if you want to book. She's starting to book out for next year. And yeah, just keep an eye on my Instagram. It's the Becky Helms. And that's where you'll see all of the details about kind of my big move to Substack. Hopefully this week. We'll see. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.